FactsVerse presents. A couple were planning their child's funeral. Then she opened her eyes and said these 7 words. First, help us spread the word about FactsVerse by clicking that like button. Also, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our future videos. Abby Furco is a 9-year-old girl who lives in Virginia Beach, Virginia. She lives with her mother Patty, her father Joe, her older sister Maggie, and her younger sister Emily. Abby loves to go to summer camp. She also loves to read and bake. Also, her least favorite subject in school is math. Overall, a typical little girl. What makes her different from most of the girls her age, though, is that she has cancer. Abby was diagnosed with cancer in 2011 when she was only 4 years old. She has a very rare form of cancer called Philadelphia chromosome-positive acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Unlike most other types of cancer, the type that Abby has cannot be treated with chemotherapy, which is a standard treatment for most cancers. Sadly, Abby's prognosis was not looking good. The doctors told her parents that there was only a 20% chance of survival. Her mother, Patty, was devastated. She says at the moment she was given that news, her heart felt like it dropped. The whole family was devastated because they were sure Abby was going to die. They didn't know what to expect. They didn't know how to prepare. They only knew that their lives were going to change forever. Abby had to spend most of her time in the hospital. For 3 years, her life was all about trying to fight cancer. She had a bone marrow transplant and underwent plenty of experimental treatments with remission as the goal. Through it all, Abby's family was by her side. Patty says that they wanted Abby to feel surrounded by love because they knew that they could lose her at any time. Abby developed several infections, but all her family could do was just watch her fight to get better. Abby says that while she was in the hospital, she was very scared. Understandable, I would think. She says that she was only 4 years old at the time and she didn't understand what was going on. What she did know was that what she was going through wasn't a regular visit to the doctor. Finally, Abby got some good news. In 2013, she began responding to the treatment, and she was able to leave the hospital. For a year, she was able to attend school, spend time with her friends, even play soccer. She signed up for Girl Scouts and was excited to finally be living a normal life. Sadly, though, that was short-lived. Abby's cancer came back in September 2014. Again, her family had to deal with the thought of possibly losing Abby. Patty says the first diagnosis was terrible. The second tested every ounce of their being. This time was different. Abby was completely immobile. Every movement, no matter how small, caused her pain. She couldn't even speak hardly. To make matters worse, she had to have another operation. The doctors scheduled Abby for a second bone marrow transplant. She had the procedure at Lurie Children's Hospital in Chicago and was then transferred to Duke Children's Hospital in North Carolina. After the surgery, Abby still didn't get any better. In fact, she took a turn for the worse. She started to experience complications, including graft-versus-host disease. That occurs when white blood cells inside the donated blood begin to fight the patient's healthy cells. The infection caused blemishes on Abby's skin. She had diarrhea. Her liver was damaged. Due to the procedures that Abby underwent to treat her cancer, her kidneys began to fail. Finally, the doctors gave Abby's family the horrible news they had been dreading. There was nothing more they could do for Abby. Abby was placed in the intensive care unit and had to have round-the-clock dialysis. The doctors told her that she'd only survive about 2 days if they took her off dialysis. By this point, she was 10 years old, and her family began to plan for her passing. The doctors told Abby's family that it was time to let her go. She was only awake for an hour a day, so they started making the necessary preparations. Abby's parents decided to take her home so that she could live her final days in her own bed with her family. Her grandparents flew in to say goodbye to their granddaughter. Patty and Joe started making funeral arrangements by choosing the songs, flowers, and a casket for her funeral. It was a difficult time for everyone, including Abby's sisters. They couldn't understand why she was so sick. Every family member took some time out for one-on-one time with Abby, and when she spoke to Patty alone, she said something surprising. They were planning her funeral, but then she opened her eyes and said these 7 words, "I don't think I'm going to yet." She told Abby that she knew she was supposed to die, but she didn't think she would. The whole family was shocked when Abby held on for days, then weeks, then months. Eventually, she got stronger and she was able to walk around. The doctors couldn't explain the complete turnaround in Abby's health. They said she defied all odds. Her family was thrilled. Abby started getting more and more strength back, and she wanted to start doing things. She went back to school, and she even went to summer camp for kids with cancer. She always wanted to go to Italy, so the family took a vacation. Today, Abby is 12 years old and is still feeling great. In May of 2019, she starred in her school's production of Annie Jr., and she hopes one day to open up her own restaurant. Her family says that they take things one day at a time. They don't know what tomorrow will hold, but Abby defied the odds, and they're praying that one day they'll all eat at her restaurant. Stories like this make you feel that maybe miracles are real. Do you believe in miracles? Have you ever witnessed a miracle? Tell us in the comments, and subscribe for more.